gave me a place to sit, but this was the only way I was able to see the Rebbe. He says the only bocher on the old table that sits here is almost 60 years old. Was Kadaner in Yitzchak from Ballpark, and he was an älterer bocher, never married. He says you don't want to be a young bocher. Everyone will push you. It's not. So I said, still I want to sit here. A bocher comes to me 20 minutes before the Farbrengen, and he tells me, it's my father's Mokum Kovu. How do you say Mokum Kovu in English? It's his place. So I said, but I'm here for a few hours, saving the place. It's not fair to come the last minute. So he said, he doesn't have to come too early because it's his Mokum Kovu. So Rabbi Marlo turns to the bocher and he said, he spoke in a tell your father that Rabbi Marlo said that even Mokum Kovua, by Tishrei you have to come at least 1 hour before the Farbrengen, because it's not fair for the guests that they should have at least 1 hour to find another place. So I was sitting there the whole Farbrengen. It's Rabbi Marlo. Anyway. Kalman. Okay, Yudo Kalman, Yuda Kalman. We need to have things in our life that makes us to remember, makes us to be connected again, to reconnect it. It's not like a new connection, to reconnect it to something. Tishrei is being reconnected to Hashem in a strong way, in a revealed way. L'chaim. Ay, 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 L'chaim.
Outside, please.
L'chaim, l'chaim. L'chaim l'vrocha. We can't count, we can't imagine, we can't be machshiv enough every little peule or isoirus that we have with ourselves or with others, the effect that this has. I can say all night stories about things that are happening every day, and the MS, everyone in this room has stories that we don't even realize. Everyone can write his own book about how he is spreading Rebbe of the world, the Rebbeinu Shalom of the world, and being Mekar reading to Yiddishkeit. Just a recent story that happened recently. So, like every Lubavitcher, we do Mivtzat Tefillin. And so I will ask every time when I see someone, Tefillin. So many times I have with myself and sometimes no. But I will call him later and I will see someone should come to him and I will tell you soon a story, remind me about William's book, something. But around 3 months ago, I was walking in Manhattan for the OK, walking in Manhattan, and my brother was here from Eretz Yisrael, so we decided to meet together and to go a little bit around Manhattan by night to see the water. So I was in downtown Manhattan, and he was in Crown Heights going to 34, so and we decided where to meet later on. So I'm going into the train, it was already after Shkiyeh, by night, even after Ma'ariv, after time. And I see a family from the Shul where I'm davening, Rabbi Levi's Shul, a Blasbergs. The Blasberg family is sitting like a young couple, they just got married a little before, and another brother of them, Blasbergs. Hey, Reb Kalman, how are you? So we was Farbrengen together for maybe 2 minutes. Then another step by the subway. And someone goes in, a tall man with no yarmulke and no hat, nothing on his head, doesn't look a Jew, and he sees me with a jacket, with a surtuk, with a hat, and he sees the Blasbergs family. So he went over to us and he says, Shalom Aleichem Yidden. So I understood he's a Yid. So I gave him my right hand and I said, Aleichem HaSholem HaYid. What is your name? In Yiddish, what's your name? He says, yeah, please calm down. If you want to speak to me in Yiddish in a way that I should understand what you want to tell me, you have to speak very slow. I know Yiddish, but not so good. So I decided to continue in Yiddish, but slow. And I said, "Was is your name? Like, what's your name?" And he said, "Michael ben David." It's like the way how he's being called to the Torah. What's your last name? Garin. If you Google him, you see him. Kitzer, he is a pianist. Pianist, I say? He's a pianist, but very famous. And there is a hotel in Manhattan, in the Lower East Side, forgot the name of the hotel, that all the most famous singers in the world, if they want to be famous by the beginning of their career, they come into this hotel and they're giving a show. And who is the pianist? Michael. And I said to him, when was the last time that Michael ben David did tefillin in his life? He says, wow. And he gave me a name of, I don't remember, because I'm not American originally, a name of a president that exists by the 60s. Kids, Beis bar mitzvah was the last time that he did tefillin, but the early 60s. I don't remember who was the president then. Some people, they have a chush.
Kennedy.
He didn't say Kennedy, but the 60s. Whatever. So I said to him, would you do it at the end? You're a Yid, would you do it again? So he said, not if it's going to cost me anything. He said, no, it's not about money. I would love you to do tefillin. And it's a mitzvah that every Jew is obligated to do. Have you on tefillin? He said, no. He did about mitzvah in Shul. They gave him tefillin, but he didn't own tefillin ever. He has a talis. So I said to him, I'm going to give you a pair of tefillin, and just tell me that you will try to do it every day. He says, yes. It's a long story. I met him after almost 2 months because he pushed me in again, and then he was practicing chazarot for a big show. Anyway, we met at the hotel. I have pictures. He's doing tefillin. He did tefillin in front of everyone by the piano. And he's doing tefillin. He even sent me a message not a little while ago that this is the most beautiful present that he ever received from anybody. And he will use it every weekday. So just from I didn't even went with Zohim officially. I went to meet my brother and to see the water on the west side. And then another story. I'm telling you the story. Number one, why not? To have a little bit less of that. But this is not the purpose. Purpose is that we all have opportunities in life to bring Lichtigkeit to the world, to be the Rebbe's shluchim, and really to be chassidim of the Rebbe in a way that we should get closer. We want to get closer. And we have medicine that we can take every day that will make us stronger and closer. These are the medicine, to follow what the Rebbe wants us to do. And let me tell you something. So I have a shir in Williamsburg. So one shir goes once a week, every Tuesday, Mitzvah Hashem, tomorrow night. Sometimes it's Thursday night. And the shir is with, it's a chavrusa, it's not a shir, with a younger man, a Satmari younger man. That once I made a Farbrengen in my sukkah in Crown Heights, around 8 or 9 years ago, sukkahs, and a few young lights from Williamsburg went into the sukkah around 11 o'clock. They stayed until 6 o'clock in the morning almost. And a day later, they called me, they took from someone my phone, and they asked me to Farbrengen by someone in sukkah. Since then, I have a chavrusa with this guy. We almost never miss if he's traveling or whatever, but when I had an operation on my feet, he came to Crown Heights to learn with me. We learn Chassidus and Orachaim al the Parsha, and also Chassidus. So, but through him, I got to know other Jungelite, and we have once in a while a shir and sometime a Farbrengen. So once, Shavuos, a few weeks before Shavuos, but not this past year, a year and a half ago. No, a year ago. Shavuos was 2 months ago, so a year and 2 months ago. I got a phone call from one of the Jungelite of the group, the Chassidish Jungelite from Williamsburg, and he said like that, Reb Kalman, the Oilom will a Farbrengen. The crowd, the Chevre, they want to have a Farbrengen. He said, but not a shir, remember, they want to have a Farbrengen. Where? He gave me an address in his own house. Gross is his name, in his own house. Well, this and this day. What's the purpose for the Farbrengen? They want to prepare themselves to Shavuos in the vision of Chassidus Chabad. Okay, so they buy everything, they shop, they call themselves Mevakshi. Searching. No problem. But now, like I told you at the beginning of the Farbrengen, I'm not a mashpia. I'm not a mashpia. Can sit down all night, Farbrengen, say, and he's a mashpia. So to have what to Farbrengen with, when you are not a mashpia, you need to have material, right? It's not enough that you know stories. It's not enough that you was by Farbrengens as a bocher, whatever. So I decided that, yes, it's a Farbrengen, but it's not a stira, it's not a contradiction to start the Farbrengen with a shtikli shir. So I made copies of a maimer, Onoichi Hashem Elokecha. I think Tovshin Chov Ches. The Rebbe speaks about Klal Uprat. That the old Torah and the old world is Klal Uprat. I don't know how to say Klal Uprat in English.
General, specific.
Yeah. Onoichi is Klal, all the other dirbes are Prat. Aseret dirbes are Klal, all Chamishet Torah is the Prat. all חשים Torah is a Klal, Mishnah is Prat, וכן הלאה, מה שתלמיד דובר סיקוס לא אחד. Then the Rebbe says about בעשור מהמוגרס נברא עולם, בראשיס נמי מים מרוס, בראשיס מים הכלולי, then other Klal ופרט, and the Rebbe explains very sweetly in Avodas Hashem what means the Avodah of Klal ופרט, and the Rebbe brings it down to the Avodah. Short mimer, not too long, not so easy. But I said, whatever we're going to accomplish, we're going to accomplish. So by the beginning, I gave copies to everyone. It was like 14 or 15 guys with me. Started around 9 o'clock. And we was learning for almost an hour the Maimer. And then we Farbrengen. You know, in Williamsburg, when you have a Farbrengen, on the table you have Beheime flesh. And all kind of smoked fish and all kind of whatever. Believe me, everything on the table is only gekommen lekever Israel, wie man sagt. Everything was gone at the end of the night. Anyway, I Farbrengen the whole night, and be'emes, I said a lot of lechaim, because I wanted to be real, you know. Fake is very easy to be. And I wanted to be more myself, and those, gesagt lechaim a bisschen. It's not good, makes you sick, aber ich habe gesagt lechaim. And around 5:30 in the morning, before the end of the Farbrengen, they were sitting all night. And it's not a Motzi Shabbos before a Sunday. Tomorrow morning a regular. And I have to open the Shul around 6 o'clock, 6:30 is a shir already. But someone else opened the Shul anyway. And I said to them, I'm not going home like that. Can't be that I will sit here all night in Williamsburg having so much lechaim. Everything at the table is gone. Baruch Hashem. And we need a bechein. You know what's a bechein? Bechein means something that we take home from the Farbrengen, and not only the food. Something that we say, okay, this is going to be my flashlight for the next few months. This is going to be my flashlight for the way how I'm going to daven from this morning, Shachis, or the way how I'm going to deal with people, the way how I'm going to speak to my family, the way how I'm going to be with myself, whatever. And I told them, I remember a story that I told them. Once, it was a Slonim Rebbe, the Divrei Shmuel. He was in the time of the Rebbe Rashab. He was a big chosid of the Rebbe Rashab. The Slonim Rebbe was a big chosid of the Rebbe Rashab. He used to say the Rebbe Rashab used to go with a jacket, with a golden Emzeiger, the watch that you put in the pocket watch. You say, hat zerbrochen in der Herz, von innen wenig, and a golden, those von den Dreußen. And I just hear that story, I don't remember. Punkt, wo the Rebbe Rashab was, he had a very stark noise from a word that he heard from the Slonim Rebbe said about something. I called upon him. Slonim Rebbe made a tish. You know what's a tish? Friday night, they make what we call a Farbrengen. So by them, they make a tish and they give shiraim, they say Dvar Torah. Of course, nicht zu vergleichen, wir machen a Farbrengen, aber ich war eine ehrliche Ried. So once, in Mitna Tish, an old chosid went into the Tish. The Slonim Rebbe stopped from what he was talking about, and he said, Guckt auf Eigen, was haben gesehen, 3 große Tzadikim. Look, he said to the Chassidim, to the young Chassidim, look on this guy, look on the eyes that had the schus to see three big tzaddikim. So after that, they looked at him. After the tish, when everybody went home, they was following this chosid, and they asked him, who are the three tzaddikim that you saw, that the Rebbe was talking about you? So he said, the Tzemach Tzedek of Lubavitch, the Cherkasser, the Chernobyl, the was given Edim, he was a son-in-law by the Mittal Rebbe, and the Heliker Rizhiner. So they said, can you tell us at least one story of each one of them? So he said, about the Tzemach Tzedek, he said a story that he was not present in the time of the story, but when he was by the Tzemach Tzedek, by a Farbrengen of Chassidim, he heard the story. I am not going to say all the details, but the story with the dintere that happened Lemailo, with the Poritz, with the Yid that was in charge from the Poritz to collect money from the people that owned the Kretschmes, and he threw out someone after a few times that he was mevater. Anyway, it was a dintere Lemailo. Tzemach Tzedek went out once from his room, and he said, what would you like? Torah, I should say a Torah, or I should say a story. So they understood if the Rebbe is asking the crowd what to say, Torah or a story, of course he wants us to say you should say a story, because he doesn't have to ask us. So he say a story. And he said the whole story that's going on in the Bashamayim. And then the Tzemach Tzedek asked the Chassidim, what do you say? Is he Zakai or Chayav? And they understood that the Torah is going on now. And they screamed and they said, he's Zakai, he's Zakai. And Tzemach Tzedek was very happy, he went into his room. So he was not present, Bishas Maaseh. You hear the story after it happened. About the Cherkasser, he said a very weird story, a very himmeldige story, but I'm not going to repeat the story in some chance. I'll leave it a negative story, not negative about the Cherkasser, Chas v'Sholem. Over the details of Sinishtra, it's not going to make us happy. And the Rizhiner, the Heliker Rizhiner, he said a very interesting story. He said he was present Bishas Maaseh. Rosh Hashanah, by us, we don't repeat anything twice by davening. Even by the Chazonim, we ask the Chazon not to repeat. Say it once and that's it. But the Polishe and befrat the Tzadikim, sometimes they say more than once. And the Emes Ha'elike, Erlach Ha'iden, they had kavones, whatever they did. So he said by Shmoneh Esrei, we say, Uvechein tein pachdecho, Rosh Hashanah, Uvechein tein pachdecho al kol masecho ve'imoscho al kol mashu. So he said the Rizhiner repeated 21 times Uvechein tein pachdecho. Uvechein tein pachdecho. I didn't know how to translate it into English. Uvechein tein pachdecho. How do you say it? It's to bring moiro. Fear. And the Chassid said to the young Chassidim, everyone in Shul, Anoshim v'taf, everyone in Shul, men, women and children, everyone did Shuvah Gmurah. So they asked him, how do you know? Shuvah is Balev. How do you know that everyone did this? He said, because I was the wolf in the crowd and I did Shuvah. So if I did Shuvah, everyone did Shuvah. This is the biggest bechein that can be. I said to them the story, and I said, let's have a bechein from the Farbrengen. Like, so what's the Maaseh? What's going on tomorrow morning? What will be? So they said to me, Reb Kalman, you was Farbrengen all night. You spoke. Tell us a bechein. What do you suggest we should do? So I said to them, I have a suggestion. I'm not going to tell you, go to Manhattan, stop people and say, are you Jewish by any chance? Are you Jewish? In Eretz Yisrael, we don't ask usually. Maybe today, yes, with the Rosh, and are you Jewish? But we used to not ask. You see who is an Arab guy and who is a Yid. Said, Taniach Tefillin, do Tefillin. I used to have a table in Mechanech market later on in central bus station in Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim, Tachana Merkazit. I remember one person was always saying, I don't believe, don't ask me to do tefillin. And once we asked him, can we speak to you? Not about tefillin, bechavod. What do you do? He says the parnose, what he's doing, and how he's work. He said, Baruch Hashem, beseder. So he said, this is a Yid. You don't need to ask him, are you Jewish? The way how he doesn't believe, but he says Baruch Hashem Beseder. You understand? So here in America, you have to ask, are you Jewish? Because you need to know. And then if he says no, you have to know how to tell him a nice goodbye. So your Rebbe, the Satmar Rebbe, not only is not asking you to do it, and the old Satmar Rebbe even spoke against Mivtza Tefillin. The Rebbe wrote a old tshuva explaining all these shilas. But so I'm not going to ask you to do mivtzoim like our bochim and our Jungelite are doing. But there is one thing that you can do, and that's not against from what you believe in. They are all business guys, businessmen. So, these 14 guys that we were sitting together, so they are in real estate, in construction, electricity, Amazon, kol minei, very matzliach, Baruch Hashem. So they have offices. When you have an office, you have people visiting you during the week. Between the people that are visiting you, some of them are Yidden. Some of them are Yidden that are not doing tefillin every day. Have a pair of tefillin in your office. Should be mivtzoim tefillin. Besides the tefillin that you have at home or in Shul. This you don't want to take to your office. You'll forget it in the office. Tomorrow morning you're going to have a problem. Buy a pair of tefillin. Doesn't have to be a $2,000 tefillin or $1,500. Can be $700, $800, $900. Mehuder, nice and good, but from mivtzoim with a siddur or a krishbe card, with a yarmulke. And if someone is coming, offer him to do tefillin. And three things are going to happen in one shot. Number one, I told them you should know, it's not a avera if another Jew is doing a mitzvah. You should know that. It's not a bad thing when you're encouraging another Jew to do a mitzvah. Okay? Number two, you're going to elevate yourself to a higher level at work. We have a nature that when we are in Shul, when we are in Shabbos table with our family, we're speaking a language of Chassidish Yidden. Then when we are at work, we work with non-Jewish people, sometimes with Israelis, not from. They say jokes, they say this, and you have to laugh, you have to send them back a joke. You're lowering yourself to another language, to another level sometimes. You don't feel, sometimes you don't feel, but this is the fact. If you're going to offer someone to do tefillin at your office, he knew, even later, that you are not officially rabbi. But he will look on you the way how he looks on a rabbi, someone, a ruchni esdiker. He's not going to talk to you about things that he's talking to other people, because this is the guy that I'm doing tefillin every time that I'm coming to his office. It's like I'm coming to a shul now. You're going to keep yourself to a higher level even at work. It's a benefit. Number three, you're going to do more business. Why? Because people, they like to invest with people that are proud with what they believe in. I believe in Hashem, and I even say it, and I even encourage you to do different. Oh, he's a believer. Let's do business with him. Let's invest with him. I didn't know if I was matzliach with them, with this group, or not. Now, I have every Wednesday a shir in Crown Heights with a nash of Crown Heights. Between 1 million and 1.5 million every Wednesday. Since COVID means since December 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Every Wednesday. In the summer, sometimes it's not happening when everyone is in the country. If they go away earlier than Thursday or whatever. But usually it's happening every week. So it's Hakhel from Olotera, from other yeshivas, they are already 40 years old. But in business, so what we do, we are learning a sikha of the Rebbe, but I prepare the sikha and I print also the sikha in a way that you take home something. You have from Wednesday until Shabbos a very short gishmake Toichin of the Parsha with a lesson in Avodas Hashem about the Parsha, and you can say it over to people until Shabbos, and you have what to say by your Shabbos table. So it's usually in one place, but sometimes goes around between other families. So once, right after, like a week after the Farbrengen of Bad Williamsburg, The Farbrengen was by Levin, one of the members of the Shir, Levin on Carroll Street, Binyamin Levin in German in Kronitz, on Carroll Street, in his backyard. Usually we do a barbecue after. So when I'm teaching or sitting by a Farbrengen, usually I'm not going to be with my phone, looking at my phone, because you have to be in the Indian. But the phone was on the table. In the middle of the sikha that we are learning, I see the telephone rings. So usually I will not go pick up. But what do I see on the screen? A guy, Lefkovich, from Williamsburg, one of the guys that was part of the Farbrengen a week ago, in Williamsburg, calls. He never calls me. I have his number. I have the numbers of the whole group. He never calls me. So I said to the people, listen, it's a Satmar guy. We was Farbrengen together last week. Can I answer? It will be very, very short. If it's a long conversation, I will tell him that I will call him back. Chavod. I'm answering the phone call. He said, Reb Kalman, how are you? Do you have a minute? He said, yes. He said, do you remember by the Farbrengen last week, by Gross, you spoke about tefillin? I didn't brought tefillin yet to my office. 2 guys ordered already from the group tefillin. One of them has already in his office since yesterday tefillin. I didn't. But he said to me such a story. He has a brother-in-law, also a Satmar in Germany. This brother-in-law has a first cousin that was learning with this Lefkovich that called me in Yeshiva years ago, maybe over 10 years before, in a Satmar Yeshiva. But this cousin of his brother-in-law is not from for years, I think maybe almost 8 years. He left Yiddishkeit, and we call it off the derech. And he lived in Tel Aviv already for a few years. So, but at the beginning, when he left Yiddishkeit, he was upset. He didn't have any connection with his family. Today, they speak. Everything is fine. But he is in Tel Aviv having a business. So he said, today, a few hours ago, he called me. Lefkovich says that the cousin of his brother-in-law that learned together with him in Yeshiva called him, Lefkovich, for a business question. They do something similar. So he called him to have advice for a business. So he said to me, so Lefkovich tells me, I said to myself, I don't have tefillin in my office yet. But a first cousin of my brother-in-law that learned in the same class with me in Yeshiva is not poor anymore, and he calls me. How can I not ask him when was the last time he did tefillin? So I asked him, Yisroel, his name is Yisroel, I said, Yisroel, when was the last time you did tefillin in your life? She said, what do you say? When I left him in Yeshiva, in Beis, it's not like Alubavitch Sheboche, Chas v'Sholem, when he's going off the derech, he takes the tefillin with him. Maybe somebody else will ask him for tefillin, Mitzrayim. A Satmar Reboche, when he goes off the derech, he leaves the tefillin in the Beis Medrash. He says, I left him there for almost 8 years, so I didn't do tefillin. So he said, if I'm arranging your new pair of tefillin in Tel Aviv soon, the next few days, would you do it again? He says, really? Now I'm in a stage of my life that I'm willing to do every day Shema Yisrael and tefillin. No problem. He calls me and he sends me, I can show you, a credit card. I called right in the morning, it was night already in Eretz Yisrael, to Musikant in Farchabad. And the cousin even paid for a taxi. Took 3 days, meanwhile we sent someone to do tefillin with him for 3 days, a shliach in Tel Aviv. After 3 days, he got a pair of tefillin. And this is also not the end of the story. So Shabbos in Shul, Rabbi Levi's Shul, I'm davening Rabbi Levi's Shul, I'm the official Yechofter. So Shabbos I have to say things by a Kiddush. So every time by a Shabbos I will say a short Sikhe and Be'ikr later on stories. So Shabbos by the Kiddush, I said over this story that happened by the Farbrengen in Williamsburg. And then with Tel Aviv, with this guy, with the Satmar guy that is coming back with the film. A week later, Friday. I'm coming home before Lichtbench. I'm coming to the Shul before Lichtbenchen. I'm coming before everyone. I'm the Gabbai also, and the Shames also, and everything, like every Shliach. And we have a Mispalel in Shul, Ingi Bistritsky, is from the Menalim of Atzole. His father founded Atzole, and he's from the Bali Chesed in Kronitz. He's from the Choshem Mispalel in our Shul. So he comes before everyone to Shul. Why? Because he's missing a lot of time, Shul time, because he has Atzole calls. So he comes before everyone to accomplish Chitas, Rambam, he has Shiurim every day, he's learning Gemara every day, and he's saying a lot of Tehillim. In Shabbos he's finishing sometime twice of the Tehillim every Shabbos. So he comes Friday early. So he hears my footsteps going up the steps, and when you have someone coming every time, the same time, you know who he is already, right? Hey, Reb Kalman, I have a good story for you, come over. Coming to his table, and he says, do you remember what you said last Shabbos? About the Satmar guy, and he says, he can do a lot of things, but some people, by nature, they don't have an easy time to offer people to do tefillin. As a bocher, he had a hard time to go Mivtzah Tefillin. He did Mivtzah Chesed with his father and other stuff. Maybe he did Mivtzah Tefillin also, but this was not his strong part of whatever. He says, it's not my type. But you said, by the Shabbos Kiddush, by the Farbrengen, about this guy, the Slavkovich. Now, his business, Ingis Bistritsky's business, for the past few years, is urgent care. So he has locations, together with his children, with partners. He has in Florida a few locations. He has in the city, in New York City, a few locations. In Williamsburg, 2 locations. So he is professional in building a location. Then other people are running day by day, but he is very good in building. So he said yesterday, Thursday, Yom Hamishi, someone came to install the electronics, the electricity in the new place. So the company that we ordered the work, they sent an Israeli guy. An older guy, like 50-something years old. So he said to him, so he said to himself, if the Satmar guy is asking someone over the phone to do tefillin, I'm a Lubavitcher, how can I not do it? So he said to him, when was the last time you did tefillin in your life? So he made a cheshbon, 27 years. But you do it again? He was not against. But Ingi realized he doesn't have to tefillin with him. Now Ingi has a Vishnitzer partner in this location. And the Vishnitzer partner an hour later came to work. And he came directly from Shul. So he didn't want to leave the tefillin at the machine, at the car. So he took the tefillin with him to the office. So Ingi said, can I ask you permission to do a mitzvah with you, tefillin with this guy? He said, of course, it's a schus. So he did tefillin with him. The day after, Friday, the day that Ingi is telling me the story, the day after, Ingi took the tefillin with him to work. But then on the way he decided, I'm not going to be a nuch today. If you ask someone a day after a day, by the end he will stop. He's going to say no. So Monday, next time I will ask him, but today, better not to ask. So he took the tefillin with him, he put it in the office, and the guy came a little later. The guy comes, he changed clothing in the bathroom to work clothing, and he comes in to Ingi's office. And he said to him, listen, you know what happened last night by Sapir? I told my wife that after so many years that I didn't do tefillin, I did again. So today before I left home, she gave me an apple, a sandwich that she prepared for me for lunch. She says, listen, today is Friday, and you said that your boss is a Chabad. He might go home earlier than you, because Shabbos. So before you start working, ask him to do tefillin with you. You should not forget, maybe he will be busy. Can you do tefillin with me? And this is a chain of just epes ha'maaseh bepoel inyan. We all have opportunities to change other people's life, and therefore our own life is being changed. The only one way to do it is by remembering that we need always to feel and to remember that we are connected. And like Reb Meir the Mishlaner said, when you are connected above, fällt man nicht unten. Wenn wir zugebunden oben, I remember Rabbi Zevin, I used to daven by Rabbi Zevin with my father for the past 10 years of his life. So he used to tell us the stories that he used to write in Sipurei Hasidim. He used to say by the Kiddush. Almost every Shabbos was a Kiddush. So he used to repeat every year this story. As wir zugebunden oben, fällt man nicht unten. When you are connected to something, you don't fall, because they make Leitzones, Hanim, the young guys of the city that was gegangen in Mikven, sie werden abbagen mit Schnee, mit Eis. The story was that, and then nicht gefallen, given an älterer Ried, there was an old man, and they was young, said, we can do it, and they couldn't. They went out the mountain with the ice, and they fell down, and they asked him, how did you do it? And he said, if you are connected to something, you don't fall. It's like, I'm going and I'm holding down. We have to always remember that we are connected to something. And we go, and something is holding us. And not in a Polish way that it's choshev b'fnei atzmo. Many people are Chassidish Eden because the Rebbe is keeping them up. By us, it's even stronger. By us, yes, the Rebbe is keeping us up, but we have our own Aveda. We have our own Schwitz. I remember a Mashpia told me once, let's say L'chaim mitanigen, mireta zei fil, you're going to forget the main thing of a Farbrengen, like Eliezer told me today, we spoke in the afternoon. You know, sometimes a taste for in Yeshiva, you don't remember, you have to look again after so many years in the Gemara and to learn it a few times, and then you will remember a little bit of the Shir, a little bit. Achsidis Shir, even you have to take the Maim again. A niggin of a Farbrengen that we sing together, a story we can remember forever, for years, for 100 years. So let's say a niggin together, let's say L'chaim. Ay, 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 mama. Should I hold for אם הציבור רוצה, אפשר לשבת ביחד, כי זה יהיה אווירה של חסידי של פרברנגן. I said that if everyone wants, we can get together, we can take 2 tables, and then if people want, they can clean the rest. It'll be easier for later. הכל פונים. Come closer, let's say Gishmaker Avil. Like Sidim, everything is about Avil. There is a letter in English Kurdish to my father. My father wrote to the Rebbe that he's being Mekarev to people, to Yiddishkeit. So the Rebbe said to him, I don't remember the Lashon, it's printed, that he should not forget, not only about learning with them, but also to bring them to the atmosphere of Lubavitch. The Avil. The Raum, the Marum, the Marum, the atmosphere. Kol Ponim. So by Chabad, by us, Elul is about the Marum. Who do you surround with? Emer li mi chaverecho, v'omer lecho miato. Means, it's like tonight Koch Hashem, as the Chassidish Farbrengen, not because I'm talking, but also Hakhel, and we sit together. You know, some people has to go to sleep on time and to get up early. Some people has to get up early anyway, and they sit by a Farbrengen anyway. Let me tell you a story about connected with Tishrei. So remember I told you about me going to Mitar? So in Mitar, at the beginning was 2 shchunes. After the Rebbe wrote the whole answer, with Aleph Sivin Tov Shimem Tes, in Mitar was 2 neighborhoods, today more. Today is very big. Used to be Shchuna Dromit, Shchuna Tzfonit, the south and the north. All the Frum people, and when I'm saying Frum, was Kippa Sruga, mean modern Orthodox. My mother used to say, Kippa Sruga, Elokim im Chorim. Rebbe Shtam Mitlech. Aber I said to my mother, in Mea Sheorim, it's not the Rebbe Baralach, with the white yarmulkes, also with the holes. She says, yes, but the Rebbe Shtam reingenechet. So then it's wo die Kopis. Derselbe Lecher, der Rebbe should go in. Kol Ponim. So all the 15% of the population in Meitar were modern Orthodox. 15%. So, and they got together, they bought houses like properties, and they was building the house in the Shchuna Dromit, in the south. The mikveh was in the south, the shuls was in the south. They were in the south, everything in the south. So in the north was Mamesh Amidbar Shmomo, and a few hundred families with no shul, no Yiddishkeit, no nothing. So I decided I have to rent a house in the north, but Tzfonit. So I was looking for a house, and I found. So what was the first pe'ula that I did when I came to Meitar? I ordered in Yerushalayim today, when you want to do a sign, you call a company, even online, and they do the sign to you. You tell them the size, the color, and everything. They do the size, and they do the sign. In the olden days, even in the 80s, when I went to Shlichus, if you ordered a sign, the guy used to take a few pieces of wood to make a frame, a pach, like a metal, and used to color everything with white, then a frame, then the letters and everything, and the symbol of tzach, the logo. Everything was avodat yad. So I went to a guy, Kletskin. He was a father of 17 in Yerushalayim. Him and his wife and the kids were together 19, bli ayin hara. And he was a kolboinik. He knew how to sing, how to be a balkoire. He was a shamesh of Zichro Moshe Shtiblach, and he was announcing for the Levayas. You know, the Levayas from Arav Agoyach in Yerushalayim, they announced. He used to charge every time when today you put, and the tape repeats himself. he used to say again and again, if you want him to say 50 times, in all the neighborhoods of Yerushalayim was 50 times a shekel or whatever. And he used to, kel molerachmim sinar hazeh sinar hamenuches. They used to ask him, wie viel kostet kel molerach? Oh, wie viel kostet announcement for Levaya? So he said, depends, im shoko or bli shoko. So, but the first time they didn't understand what's the connection. Shoko means like they give him chocolate milk. What's the connection? Say no. By tzaddikim you announce Shoko Hashemesh Batzoraim, and then you say the name and the levaya. If it's bita Shoko, so it's more money. It used to be Alexa, but I read and Gishmak it. I went to him and I ordered a sign. The sign was Beis Chabad Mitar Haktovet Lechol Inyan Yehudi. This was not my Amtsoe. Many shluchim did the same. Chabad of Mitar, the address for every Jewish method. And the logo of Tzach. The logo of Tzach. Now you need permission to put a sign in your house, in the front of the house, because it's not a public place. It's not like next to a bank or supermarket that anyway they know that you're going to put a sign. It's a private house. Even the way how the house should look like, they will tell you how. You need to have permission from the mayor. So I went to the mayor, that he was connected with Kubavitch. I told you before, he was a brother-in-law of Reuven Dunin. He was a memuna mitam Misad HaPnim. So then I asked him permission. And he said, no problem. He gave me a public place, a miklat, a shelter, that this is where I should do the activities, in a public place. But I said, I want people should know that this is where the shliach lives. Here where you can come to see the Shabbos. If you need them, I didn't have a store for like in the public place. So he said, no problem. Now, to put the sign up, I needed the tractor of the mayor's office to lift me up because I didn't have another way to go. I could use a sulam, a ladder, but it was very dangerous, shaky. So the guy that was in charge of all the tractors took me to my house, and I took a drill and everything, and I put the sign up. 2 hours later, I got a phone call in my house. I didn't have a cell phone then. I'm talking about 1989, before cell phones, right? Yeah. I got a phone call from the mayor. He says, Rab Kalman, yesh li dibur itcha. I need to talk to you. Come to my office. I'm coming to his office, and he says, I want to show you a letter that one of your neighbors just gave me. And not by mail. He gave it, Mesirah Ishit. He was coming to my office and gave it to my secretary. And I'm not going to show you who is the guy. I'm going to cover the name. I'm going to fold the name because it's against you. So I don't want you to see who writes against you. But we will think together how to deal with the situation. So I'm reading the letter. And he writes that he bought a property in Meitar. You don't buy a house. Later on, yes, when people are living. But by the beginning, you buy a property and you build in your own house with plans and everything. So I bought a property, Davke in the north, where there is no shuls, no from people. I don't have anything against, but I don't want to have any religious atmosphere around my house. And now, every morning when I'm taking my dog to a walk, 5 o'clock in the morning, I need to see a sign, Beit Chabad Mitar Haktovet Lechol Inyan Yehudi. He turned over the street to a shul, to a Jewish community. Now, my house was the most quiet house in the street because we didn't have children yet. It was a few months after the Chasana. Every other house, a dog outside. Already noise. But he says, let's think how to answer him. You should not be worried. It's not going to be activities in your house. So that Shabbos, you are allowed to do whatever you want, singing, whatever. Every guy can sing in his house, whatever. But it's not going to be a community place. But still, you can have the sign. So I said to him, okay, I will think. I'm coming back in a half an hour. Meanwhile, I asked the other guy, the tractor guy, I said to him, I need help again. I didn't tell him what. He took me up, and I took down the sign. And I came back to the mayor, and I said to him, listen, I took down the sign. And I don't have storage in my house. And I need a big storage, it's a big sign. It was like probably this table בערך, big sign, a nice sign. And can you storage in the storages of the mayor's office? They have big storages, like, she says, אתה כזה בטלן? You're such a button? You know how many shluchim will wish to have a mayor that is backing them? I'm backing you. I'm giving you a gab. I'm giving you a support. It's just that I told you, let's think how to answer them professionally, and it should be calm and everything is fine. So I said to him, you was sent here by the government. I was sent here by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So it's my decision what to do with the sign of Chabaders. Now, I don't know until today why didn't I think to ask the Rebbe himself what to do. Maybe the Rebbe would not answer. I don't know. But I remember what I was thinking. Why to take down the sign? I said to myself, I said to the family, to my family, the Rebbe sent me to Meitar to spread Yiddishkeit. This is the first thing that I did in my Yiddishkeit in Meitar, the sign. A sign is a dover chitzoni. It's like an outside thing. You should know that this is where the shliach lives. You should know that this is where Lubavitch is. Very nice. It's very important. I said, maybe the Rebbe wants me to be a life sign. Everyone will know because they will come to the Shabbos. They will have a mezuzah taking from here. They will have tefillin coming here. They will do a bar mitzvah class here. Everything will be here, quietly but nicely. And then will be a life sign. And the sign should be in the public, in the miklat, in the shelter, where it's not in the residence neighborhood. If would be a peule, later on when I did Miftzat film with Bochum from Kiryat Gat every Friday coming helping me, because I had 2 stands. Once, someone turned over the old table with the tefillin. A guy that was mad against we doing Miftzat film outside in the public place. I didn't stop doing Miftzat film. I continued, and I said to him, I'm waiting for the day that you will come here and do tefillin. Didn't happen with him. Didn't happen with him. I have another story with another lady I will tell you soon. But a sign is not actually peule. It's for the moisture. It's pipishton. And I didn't know if I'm right or not, but I did it anyway. And this was mamish by the beginning, 7. 2 months later, I did Miftzah Shalom. Miftzah Shalom, everyone knows, it's like not a full camp. We used to do it in Eretz Yisrael 10 days for less than 2 hours every day in the afternoon. It's like they have camp in the morning from the city, whatever, and they come in the afternoon for almost 2 hours, and they have activities, they have a team song, hymnon, and they learn about mitzvahs. The girls are learning about Foshas Chale, the boys about tefillin, and tzitzis and other stuff. I took my sister from Beis Chale in Yerushalayim and her friend, 2 girls, and they did for 10 days the Miftzah Shalom. In the shelter, what I got from the mayor, I had 98 children applied. Almost every day, all of them showed up. I used to come, bring the food, bring the mischakim or whatever they needed. One day in the middle of the summer, and now they had a hymnon, anthem, but in rhymes. Someone did it in Eretz Yisrael, I don't know who, but it's like rhymes. Someone, the solo, is screaming, Mi anachnu, everyone is answering, Tzivot Hashem. מה תפקידנו להילחם במי במה ביצר הרע ובזה נקרב את הגאולה. And I don't remember the continuation like we have to Hashem. So one is saying something and everyone is answering him, and then they sing something. I'm coming home in the middle of the day in one of the summer days, and I see on my door a note with scotch tape, and the note says, all the neighbors of the street, it was a long street, one of the longest streets in the city, in the Meitar, Chov Ein Mor. And most of the people was teachers, so they had vacation, the parents also vacation during the summer. So you don't know what to do. Everyone is invited, all the people in the neighborhood invited to a concert of the children of the neighborhood in the parking lot of the Kfir family, across the street my house. Not Mamesh across the street, Be'alachsoin. If you look this way, it's across the street. A parking lot, a big parking lot, they had a double car parking lot. Everyone should bring his own chair and his own sandwich. This is what the note says. When? 6 p.m. I'm looking from the window 6 p.m. and I see people are coming. Why? Because they have nothing more to do. And I see children are preparing a whole concert. They didn't have real music. You know, pots and pans, like forks and knives, like the olden days when we was children. Today you buy to the children the real stuff. But mixim shel sirim, how do you say, cover of pots, and for the metzaltaim and other stuff. So I just said to myself, take a chair and go. It's an opportunity to know more people. I went. Shalom, shalom, everybody was very nice. Then I see the children are putting themselves together in 2 lines for the concert. And who are the children? Almost everyone from the Miftzah Shelo. I was quiet. And then one of the boys, his name is Yudke Fleischer. He is part of the Miftzah Shelo, standing in front of everyone, 2 lines, and he's standing in front, and he starts. Mi anachnu, everyone is answering. Tzivot Hashem, ma tafkidenu, lehilachem, bemi, bema, beyetzer hara, ubazen lekarev et hageula, and again I don't remember the continuation. All of a sudden, when they finished, the choir, Yudke's father, Eitan, with a beard, no yarmulke. He is a kibbutznik from before he came to Meitar. He retired from a kibbutz. He was in charge in the kibbutz to get up early in the morning to take out the milk from the cows. So usually these people will have a beard. Why? Because you get up early, you don't have time to shave. So better to have a full beard than sometimes yes, sometimes no. Yes. This is your look, a beard. No yarmulke. He had a safam, mustache, and a beard, but no yarmulke. He didn't do a bar mitzvah as at 13 years old, because he was in a kibbutz that no shul, no Yiddishkeit, no nothing, from the very, very far away from Yiddishkeit. Begil. Anyway, he gets up and he says, Chevre, I have to tell you in Hebrew, I have to tell you something. This guy, Arav Kalman, and he points at me, came to live here 2 months ago. A few days later, I see him putting a sign. I wrote a letter right away to the mayor, and I was thinking that because the mayor is with a kippah, he will be on his side. A little later, I see him coming with the tractor again, taking down the signs. I said, Kol hakavod le Dr. Levy. Dr. Levy was the mayor, Dr. Aaron Levy. There's a letter. In Kfar Chabad magazine, there's a copy of the letter. I'm looking for this Kfar Chabad magazine because I don't have a copy. The first Tanya that I was, the Tanya that was printed, one day Manny Wolf from Kehos in Kfar Chabad calls me and he says, I have a guy that wants to donate 3 places of Tanya that was never printed. So in Meitar, no one printed a Tanya ever, so we will come with a truck and choose another 2 places around you. So we did in Lehavim and Otniel. So when I got the first box with the Tanyas, little Tanyas like that, but white, a white cover, same size, berech. And when the truck from the Tanya printer came, I connected the electric to the mayor's office with a long extension cord. And I gave him the covered, the screws, to turn on the printing machine. Like he's printing the Tanya. And then he sent the Rebbe the first Tanya. And he wrote to the Rebbe, and he got a letter from the Rebbe that the Rebbe is thanking him about helping me. The Rebbe didn't write my name. But he wrote to the Rebbe that he's helping Chabad in Meitar and everything, and me. And his name was Aaron Levy. He was a Levi. And the Nichtav Mitzidui of the letter, the Rebbe writes, thanks for helping, thanks for what you're doing, for the activities or whatever. Don't remember the Lashon. His name is Aaron Levy. והרי זה הויו תפקידו של אהרון הכהן ושל כל שבט לוי. So they made an interview with me and him for Chabad magazine, so they put this letter. I need to, the archives in Nimtza. Anyway, so this is a side thing, the Tanya. But back to the original story. So this Eitan Fleischer, Yudke's father, he didn't do Bar Mitzvah, and he said, so I was thinking, wow, the mayor, even if he's from, is not in his side. So I called them to say, thank you, Aaron, Dr. Levy. So Dr. Levy is telling me, it's not me. I think he's making a mistake. He should leave the sign. He decided. So I says, oh, if this is the case, we don't have to be worried about this Chabadnik. It's going to be very schwach. But today, if my Yudke is screaming, Mi anachnu tzivot Hashem, be careful, it's dangerous. Don't send the children, even make them from. And we hugged for maybe 2-3 minutes. We danced. And since then, he almost never missed a Farbrengen that I made. He even wrote I like to bake, so I used to bake stuff for the Farbrengens, and once I gave burned cookies, mamash burned that ichsa. And he wrote an whole article in the Meitam magazine that comes out every 3 months about the burning cookies of the Lubavitcher Shliach and what's the atmosphere of the Farbrengen and everything. He wrote very, very nicely. Now, I was begging him, like every Shliach, do you do matzahs Erev Pesach? You give matzahs. Every Shliach is giving matzahs. The Rebbe's Mivtza matzah. The Rebbe made my father a Shliach, you remember, to take the matzahs to Yerushalayim for Pesach. Purim, I gave out Shalach Manos to many families. Shavuos, I used to make a cheesecake, small ones, and a bottle of wine, and all the other, every year other reasons, there's more than 100, other reasons why we eat milchiks and Shavuos. And I used to come to every family. So Erev Yom Kippur, I used to do something else, because we used to have the table outside the supermarket to do the film Friday. So sometimes was people that they was embarrassed to do it in public. So I used to, if I had time, I used to go in their house. But not every time not every time I used the opportunity. But Erev Yom Kippur, I used to go to a few families that if I would go to them, they would do it a few times a year. So Erev Yom Kippur, I went, and I did. And I went in Eitan. Eitan was across the street, my house, this way. This is why you saw the sign. I used to go to him every Erev Yom Kippur and to tell him, let's do a bar mitzvah to Eitan. And he says, I will never do tefillin. אבל נשאר חברים, נכון? But we're going to stay friends, right? He says, no connection. And he used to say, I will never do tefillin. And he never did. One day, Eitan calls me, and he says, listen, אני לא מאמין בזה. I don't believe in it. But Yudke is in Kita Zayin, and they do bar mitzvah in Kita Zayin. I think Kita Zayin. And he wants me to ask you to teach him the Haftorah, that ceremony. Okay, so I did it. In the middle of the classes, like it's a few months, I used to tell the boys that I was teaching for bar mitzvah, you don't have to be frum if you want to do tefillin after the bar mitzvah also. Tefillin doesn't belong to frum people. It's to every Jew. If you want to decide that you want to try keeping kosher after the bar mitzvah, or even before, you don't have to be frum for it. You can do it. It's just available for you. If you want to do a little bit of Shema Shabbos and more of Shabbos and more of Shabbos, you don't have to be officially religious for that. You can stay what the kids say. You don't have to be religious to be frum or whatever you want to call it. So in the middle of the class, I was teaching about tefillin, but he doesn't have tefillin. Now, in every Israeli family, there is one tefillin that goes around between all the brothers and the father and everybody. Right? From bar mitzvah to bar mitzvah. They don't buy for every child. The Sfaradim are more into every child should have his own tefillin. But the Ashkenazim for sure not. Kol ponim, he doesn't have even his father's tefillin. So his father called me and he says, Rab Kalman, Yudke rotze tefillin. He wants tefillin. So again, in his being makpid to repeat. I don't believe in it. But if you buy him, please buy him exactly the same level what you're going to buy to your Moshe, my Bechor. Because if he's getting in what he believes, and what you believe should be the best. I bought him arba l'arba. Feeling nice. Xavarizal. No, that they can film.
Having counsel?
No. And, but the day of the bar mitzvah was begging the father, let's do, בוא נהרוג שתי ציפורים במכה אחת. Let's kill two birds in one. Let's do bar mitzvah to the son and the father in the same day. So he said, בשום אופן. He refuses. No way, no way. He didn't. One day, I'm taking out mail from my mailbox. You know, in such a city, you don't get the mail in your house. The mail comes to the post office, and you take out the mail from your mail. Like in Kingston Avenue, you have like a door, so you can have some people there, a box. So my box was 770. Even I came, I was family number 620. Today they have over 5,500 and 5,500 families. But the post office prepared already for over 1,000. When you prepare. So I said to him, please give me the 770. It will be easy to remember, to tell people, P.O. Box 770. So I'm taking out from 770 box my mail, and Eitan is taking out the mail from his box. And he said, Reb Kalman, tov shani roeh otcha. Good I see you. Why? Next week I'm going into operation. תתפלל בשבילי, right? He doesn't tell me אני לא מאמין, but it says like, I sent to the oil his name, and I told them, why do you do operation? So he said, open heart surgery, a bypass. The reason is, he did בדיקה רפואית, a medical check, and they saw that he has blockages. Now, he can live for years without the operation. But if he will do operation, he will have a quality life. When he will go up a mountain, he's not going to feel like, oh, that's it, it's the end of the story. He will go up steps, he will have a quality life. So I said to him, I can't tell you what to do, but you know the Rebbe used to say always, like these kind of cases, or to have two doctors saying the same opinion, or the doctor that is telling you to do operation should be a roife yedid, should be a friendly doctor that cares about family friend, roife yedid. So he said, התייעצתי עם רופא שהוא חבר, הכל בסדר. Anyway, what happened is, when he did the operation, they forgot to give him a blood thinner. This can happen, they said, then I remember they said in the statistic, I don't remember every 5,000 or 6,000 operations for a doctor. Can happen a mistake that they forget to give a blood thinner. Maybe I don't say the right number, but there is a statistic how many mistakes happens by a doctor. Dr. Pini was here before, you could ask him. Anyway, but should never happen any mistake like that, because when you don't give a blood thinner to someone that is doing such an operation, this is like chas v'sholem, a killer, because he need a blood thinner, and they forgot to give him. I even remember who was the doctor. A former doctor, a very mumche, in Soroka Hospital. And from the operation, he went into a vegetable, to a coma. Every Friday, I went to Beersheba to the hospital with a pair of Rashi tefillin to see maybe he's up. We'll do tefillin with him if he wants. But he was sleeping still. For a few months, Erev Yom Kippur is coming. Erev Yom Kippur, I want to do kapores with a chicken. Not only with money or with frozen chicken like some people are doing. No, maybe not. Anyway, Chaim. I wanted to do so. I went to Beersheba. In Beersheba, there is a market. And I don't know about today, but when I was there, 1989, 1990, until 2003, in the shuk in Beersheba, they used to have chickens, And I used to take a sheikhet from Meitar. Why a sheikhet from Meitar? Because the Rosh Moitzah Datit, he was a Sfaradi guy, not Lubavitch, but he was learning in the Pardes, by Reb Shlomo Chaim. He was from the Moroccan guys that came to Tomchet Mimim to learn, and he learned Shechita in Tomchet Mimim. So we used to give the chickens to families, and I wanted to have at least a sheikhet was original to Tomchet Mimim, and we used to go. So I went to Be'er Sheva, and the way back, and I had someone driving a car, also going to do kapos. Between Moshe Horowitz is his name. I said to Moshe, do you have 10-15 minutes extra? He says, no problem. For what? I said, I wanted on the way home to stop. I should not have to come back later on to do the filling, to try to do the filling with Eitan. He said, but you tell me that you go every Friday and he's in a coma. He says, yes, but Erev Yom Kippur is my minhag to go to him. I have to. We stopped. This was around 8 o'clock in the morning. He was waiting downstairs. I'm going with the Rashid film with a yarmulke. I had my hat. And I'm going into the ICU department. His wife was a Sephardi, Mitzrit. Egyptian Jew. She always wanted him to do tefillin, but he says,
No way.
Al tenasi afilu, don't even try. She sees me, and she screams, and she says, and Yudke is there, and the doctor, the nurse, the old Tzevet. How did you know? How did you know when to come? He says, what's going on? He says, a few hours ago, he woke up, first time since the operation. First time. And she goes to him and she says, Eitan, Arav Kalman Khan. Now, the nurse was teaching them how to relate to him, because number one, they tested to see if his brain is still good, and they saw that yes, because he was talking, and they understood what he's saying, but he was sleeping immediately. They put ice in his mouth, they put a little water, they took a stick with band-aid with water. You should soak water a little bit, and then when he was schwach, they told them, if you are being asked something and you want to say yes, you will close and open your eyes. If you want to say no, don't do anything. And they tested him from Kol Minei sides, and they saw that he knows what's going on. And she says, Arav Kalman כאן ורוצה להניח לך תפילין. תעשה עם העיניים. Rav Kalman, he's here and he wants to do tefillin with you. Do with your eyes if you want to do tefillin. And he started to open and close his eyes. Now I'm from Yerushalayim. I knew that if I want to say in Meitar that Eitan did tefillin because he opened and closed his eyes, everyone will open and close his eyes. That's like, I need something real. So now this specific Yom Kippur, I left Meitar for Yom Kippur. I got Bochum from Kiryat Gat to run the Shul because there was an emergency in Be'er Sheva, in the Romanian Shul, that a Shaliach was running the Shul, and the Shaliach was in the hospital, I think, and Rabbi Dickstein, Moshe Dickstein, asked me I should come to run the Shul of the Romanian. They needed somebody older, not just Bochum, and I should be the Chazan and I should run the Shul there. So I'm a shtickle about tefillah also. So I know a little bit the Nusach. And I started in the ICU room to speak to Eitan. And I said, and he was still with his beard. This was like a symbolic thing for him. They didn't touch it in the hospital. Maybe they cut it a little bit. And I said, you know, in a few hours, so many people in the whole world will start together, and everyone will say, and everyone in Israel knows the nigun of Kol Nidrei, the tune. They put Dudu Fisher on the radio, and other Chazonim and those. And I started to sing Kol Nidrei in the room. Kol Nidrei, and Eitan's beard started to be wet from tears. And I was crying. His wife, everyone in the room cried. The doctor, the nurse, Yudke. I think Yudke was there, the mother, Orit. And I said to him, I'm always telling you that your name is Eitan. And I used to tell him that Eitan is Tani Oisies Eitan. Eitan is strong like Sela. Eitan is a Sela. Eitan Kasela, it's strong like a stone. And you're always strong to say no. Now if you want to do tefillin, just say yes. This is the same Eitan. Don't change. Just use the choizek to say yes. And he didn't do with his eyes. He just said very clearly, Harav Kalman, Taniach li kvar tefillin. Harav Kalman, just do it already. And I did it. And I did a bracha with him, and he was sleeping again, so they put water in his mouth. And I did the first line, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. I tried a little bit more. Then I said a few psukim with him. And that's it, and I left. Before Kol Nidre, when I came from my house to Be'er Sheva, to the hotel room that they gave me the Shul to stay for to run the. So I went to Be'er Sheva, to Soroka, to the hospital, to see what's going on with Eitan. Coming in, the wife is telling me that maybe an hour and a half after I left, he went into a coma again. It's like he woke up to do tefillin. Long story. By night, I didn't went to the hotel room. I took from one of the nurses helped me, and she gave me a few blankets, and I put it in the hallway by the ICU room. I wanted to be next to him. I was sleeping all night there. Anyway, Motzei Yom Kippur, he gave back the neshama to the Rebbe. And I'm always thinking, if I would leave the sign, this guy will never do teshuvah. If I would say, no, the mayor is backing me up. This is why the sign should stay there. Beit Chabad Meitar, Aktovet L'chol Inyan Yehudi. He would never send his Yudke to my activity. We should always, and Yudke lives now in the father's, or now, a few years ago, every Erev Yom Kippur I'm speaking to Yudke and his mother. Yudke lives in his father's house. His mother is in a assistant living now. And he got the house. In the Yerusha, they divided already, whatever. He got the house. He lives. He's doing, his kitchen is kosher. He has two things. And he's doing tefillin every weekday, until today. Shabbos, he tries to go to Shul. I can't say if it's Mamash Hashem or Shabbos. And he's connected with the Shliach now, Reb Shneir Kurz in Meitar. A few years ago, before Yom Kippur, it's a Yortzeit Yom Kippur, Motzei Yom Kippur, Klein Hashmoshes. Yudke calls me, Harav Kalman Manishma, to say Shana Tova before Rosh Hashanah. They called me by my Yom Huledet, a few families. So he said, you know what happened? A few years ago, he says, we were sitting by my mother in the assistant living, and we was listening. I don't remember how many years ago was it, maybe 5 years, I don't remember. There is a singer in Israel, his name is Shuli Rand. He's a Breslover Bal Tshuva, and he's very, very famous. He's doing a show, you can have 50,000 people sometimes. He's very famous. And he came out with a song about a friend, non-from, that he was always fighting about Hashem, argument, chulu. And in the hospital, before he passed away, he did teshuvah. And the name of the niggun is Hameshorer. So we said, me to my mother, Yudke said, I said to my mother, this story is Mamesh Kalman and Abba. Kalman. So I called Shuli Rand. I didn't speak to him, I spoke to his Amargan, his manager. The manager of his David Fadida, and I left him a message, and I said, ask Shuli if he can send a message by video to this family about the father, and he sent. This was already online by COL, put it already a year ago, by Yom Kippur, 2 years ago. Anyway, every pe'ule that we do, and sometimes what we don't do. I took down the sign. But we need to have attention. We need to have attention that we are messengers, we are shluchim of the Rebbe, that everything that we do has an effect. Oye da da moye de mahdam ay de mahdam ay de mahdam ama So I didn't wash. Weiß ich, das war Arminien, was zum Sachen gewaschen.
Ist das halt dann nehmen? Ja.
Das ist der Krementschu. Der Krementschu gerberlach. Noch so gerufen, nein?
Nein.
Ja.
Ich weiß nicht genau.
Das ist der Name of this nigga ist Krementschu gerberlach. Ist also weiß nicht gut, ihm sagt dann nicht. Ja. Maybe.
זה חייתן, זה המשפחה.
כן. Ja, אצלנו בבית הכנסת הרבה.
כן.
זה עקרון הייץ. עוד מן למסחוץ, אז קומט in Shul. עקרון הייץ. For listening. Good crowd. Shkoyach Rabbi Yehuda again. כל הכבוד. אתה בישראל?
אפשר להגיד.
איפה במקור? מקרנת?
ואחר כך בכפר חב"ד, ואחר כך חזר.
האמא שלו פיאמנטה.
אז אתה אח שלי. לא. אז אמא שלך אחות של יהודה? אז יהודה הבן של אבי. אתה מוזיקלי? איזה כלים? חליל צד. יפה מאוד. הניגון הוא כל מושא לב. מי שיש לו חוש בנגינה, יש לו לב פתוח. אחד you understand the Hebrew? One of the Hasidim that was a resident, he was living by Rabbi Pliskin in Rusland. And he was in a Yush, like he gave up of the young generation. He said, you don't see anymore like a hope. What will be with Chassidim and those? Until one day he sees that Rabbi and his rabbis, and they preparing the house. They were so poor, they didn't even have like a olden days washing machine to wash the tablecloth. They got a little bit soap and they did it in the sink, and they was preparing like a very Choshev gas is coming. So he said, who knows who is coming? Ältere Choshev, der Ritsch, der Masmi, whatever. And then who came? So you know the stories that Tmimim used to eat teg. They used to eat every other day, every 2-3 days or every day by another young man. When they didn't have a kitchen in a town, when it was Tmimim in a specific town, and they didn't have a kitchen, or they used to eat. So it was a lot of anash in this city. So you needed to wait a long time until it was your turn to host a tomim. So this was the guest in his house. Atomim by Rabbi. So the guest said, wow, if a younger man, Rabbi was not the Große Geoinim or the Modessa, but even a Chosid, a bit the Gerid. If this is our Chosid today, is preparing the house for just a regular Tommy, was 18 years old, a bocher, looked like a schlumper, and you prepare the house like the Rebbe himself is coming, there is a hope to Lubavitch. I wrote a few stories, I wrote karate. I read a few stories of Tmimim recently, and I think this gave me a chizuk because my son is living in a Yeshiva in Queens, and they sent everyone home a few days ago. Why? Because the marshal threw them out from the building. So every house in Crown Heights that has one bocher in Yeshiva become an old dormitory. So Baruch Hashem, by me, it's not just bochim, it's nephews. But Mashkoche Protis, in the same day I saw a story. I'm going to sleep with stories. So when I was a child, it was my mother's stories, stories that she saw and she told us. But today I will fall asleep. It's easier to fall asleep when you read something. And Bechlal, you have more stories. So I saw a story of Rabbi Hirsch Guraye, my wife's, Eliezer's great uncle. It was 3 brothers, so he was one, right? One of them?
Nassen's son.
Nassen's son.
Oldest son.
So he was a cousin of our Eliezer.
Yeah. A brother.
A brother. So Rabbi Hirsch, he was a Gevir, and he lived in Kremenchug. Bechlal the Gurayes, for a long time he was in Kremenchug. And he had money, so he bought a house in Kremenchug, but such a house, a palace, a house that used to belong to a Russian army general before, like a nice house. 2 floors. The first floor was the most beautiful floor, but you couldn't really live in this floor because it's not bedrooms. It's like a huge living room and guests, like a dining room over there. Upstairs was also a dining room and a kitchen, bedrooms. So he came into the Rebbe Rashab, B'tzimcha, that he bought a house, and he's asking for a broche for the new house that he should have atzloch, and he was already an older man. So the Rebbe Rashab said, wow, such a big house, what do you do with the first floor? So he said, this is the most beautiful floor, we enjoyed it. So the Rebbe said, such a big floor just for you and your wife? I think you should let in the Tmimim of the city in this floor, this should be the dormitory. And after a little, so he did it, he was not happy about it, the story goes that he was not happy about it, but he was a Kabbalah Solnik, and he did it anyway. And after a few weeks, Bochim being there, everything was destroyed, of course. Not Bekavone, but this is how they live. And this was in the time of the Mahapeche in Rusland, the revolution. And soldiers went in, especially to rich families, Jewish, and they used to rob, and they used to do. They saw such a house, so they knocked on the door, and he was scared and he knew what's going on, so he went in downstairs, and he was sleeping in one of the beds that was empty. The bocher was not there, one bed was empty, maybe more, and they came in and they saw such a chum, and they said, maybe used to be here rich people, but not anymore. But then he was running away because he knew that they are looking for people that still have money, and if they will have Mosrim over there, were telling about people. So he was running away, and the yeshiva was still there for many, many months later. And they used to say every day, the Bochrim, in Kuf Yutes, the letters of Beis. That this Beis should be, in Kuf Yutes, this Beis, Yud Tov, this is what the story goes. And Al Kol Ponim, the bringing in Tmimim to his house was Mamish saving him from death. And so I saw this story, so I told my wife, Baruch Hashem, this is Mamish Mashkoche Protis, in the same time, and my son, another family in Crown Heights, that he gave all he has 3 boys in Yeshiva in Queens, and he gave all the beds to guests that came for a chassid in Crown Heights, and now all of a sudden, the children, in 3 hours, the marshal sent them home. Where are you putting your children? It's not easy, but the way our Chassidim used to live is by seeing not only Ashkoche Protis, but you run your life with glasses of what the Rebbe wants you to do. With glasses, with a vision of what is real life. And then everything is much easier. And we're not only surviving, but we have lechatchile a life of Chassidim, a life of Iskashrus, and the Rebbe should help me, should have aksimu v'chasim b'teve. And really, the Chai Elul should give us chayes in the Aveda of Chodesh Elul, and the Aveda of Chodesh Elul should give us chayes all year round. We should not be in a, like by the Misnagdim, a black September, and we should really do Teshuvah, but in a way of lichtigkeit, in a way of Amelech Basode. You know, the Maimer, Ani Ledoidi, of Daf Lamed Beis, like the Rebbe explains in a Maimer, that everything is meduyek in the Maimer, Ani Ledoidi, and even the Daf, that Tzemach Tzedek put the Maimer on, the Lamed Beis, the Inyan of Lev, in Torah. So, Bechlal Chassidus, you can learn the same Maimer 20 times, in 20 years, every time you see a new vision of the Maimer, a new diuk, a new chidush. In Gemara also, but Chassid especially, in Avodas Hashem, this Maimer, I think, I'm not a big mashpia, I'm Bechlal not mashpia, but I'm not a big masculine in Chassidus. But this Maimer, Ani Ledoidi, I think is their life example of that you can see something that you can learn. You can be 80 years old, learning every year the same Maimer, and like it's the first time. Like, what is the Maimer telling me again? And I got a new diuk in the Maimer this year. Maybe the Rebbe is talking about it, maybe Mashpim are talking about it, but why is the Rebbe saying, the Alter Rebbe? The Rebbe is saying, the Moshe Melech Masodeh, Umekabel es kulum besever polim yofos, Umare polim soichakois, lekulum. I think the Alter Rebbe is saying twice lekulum. If everything is so meduyok in the Maimer, and the Rebbe takes words and mamish making a diuk, so the Alter Rebbe should say, Umekabel es kulum besever polim yofos, Umare polim soichakois, Umekabel besever polim yofos, Umare polim soichakois, lekulum. Why do you have to say twice lekulum? Umekabel es kulum besever polim yofos, Umare polim soichakois, lekulum. It's the same kulum. I think what I was understanding while I was learning the Maimer, you can make a chasine, you invite 500 people. So you are being Mekabel es kulum besever polim yofos. Everyone will have a name with a chair. Not only that, you will make sure you should sit next to someone that he feels comfortable with. And food will be the best for everyone. So everyone feels welcome. This is Sever Ponim Yofos. But to smile, maybe a fake smile you can do to 500 people. But a real smile with like, wow, thanks for coming for my simcha. You made my simcha. For 50 people you can do. 70, maybe 100 from 500. The Rebbe there is Mekabel es kulom besever ponim yofos, but also Mare ponim soichakois, smiley face, to everyone. Means Chodesh Elul, no one can say, I had a hard time, because Azay, so low, from there you can't go ever up. No, because even there the Rebbe is still smiling to you, but the Rebbe is no fake. My mother used to say, in Pei Aleph in Tehillim, this is a posuk Archis Picho B'Amaleu. So David HaMelech, if he wants to say, what means Archis Picho? Tarchiv et hapeh. Make your mouth wide. Widen your mouth, then Amaleu. No, the lotion should be Psach Picho B'Amaleu. Open your mouth and I will fill it with good things. Why Archev Picho? Because Archev, when you widen your mouth, you have a smiley face. You want me to give you a shpoyos toives? Smile. It means be besimcha. So Avodas Hashem even Elul, this is a story of two Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov. Two Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov was having a hard time to be besimcha. And they had real tzores. At least. And Baal Shem Tov was trying to explain them why anyway you have to be besimcha, because there is no such a thing avodas Hashem be'emes without simcha. So the Baal Shem Tov saw that they can't understand, how to be besimcha even if you don't understand how. So he did what he did many times. He sent his two Talmidim to a Poshet Yid in a village, and he said, be by him one night, sleep by him overnight, you're going to have an easy time how to serve Hashem besimcha even if you don't understand why. So the Rebbe said they did it. They went to this village and they found the house. A Poshet Yid. He was such a Yid that what he knew davening is just with the Girse de Yankese. He remembered from the Melamed, from his father. He didn't even understand what he's saying. You know the Amoleke Poshet Yid, Im Avoneinu Onu Banu, or the other Perushim. And they used to do Tikkun Chatzos every night by Chatzos Halaylo. The two Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov used to pray Chatzos, Tikkun Leo, Tikkun Hakhel. The Alter Rebbe Siddur is the Tikkun Chatzos, not in Tikkun Hashem, but in the original Siddur. So Tikkun Chatzos is, at the beginning you have Psukim on the Churban, Beis Rishon, Beis Sheni, and then you have later on, you don't cry with no hope, right? You are a Yid. So you say the Psukim on the third Beis Hamikdash and the Geula and Moshiach. So they used to cry for the most of the Tikkun Chatzos, but then by the end, mitzad the Geula, they used to also sing and dance. Now, they came in and they said, can we sleep by you overnight? They didn't tell them the reason why they came, because they're not supposed to. They have to watch him to see how they can learn from him how to be besimcha even if they don't understand why. So they said to him, give us a bed to sleep. He gave them a room with two beds, and they didn't want he should be scared in the middle of the night if they are crying. So they said to him, they didn't tell him the whole story about Tikkun Chatzos and happy by the end that they are dancing for the Beis Hamikdash. If you hear that we are crying in the middle of the night, don't be scared. It's about the Churban. It's nothing happened in your house. Don't take it that it's happening now. Okay? In the middle of the night, like 1 o'clock in the morning, he gets up and he hears they are crying. So he was shocked a little bit, but then he remembered that's about the Churban. So he turns over to sleep again. But he couldn't fall asleep again anymore. Because he said to himself, who knows if I will have another opportunity in my house, two tzaddikim, talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, and maybe he knew who the Baal Shem Tov was, crying in my house, next to the mezuzah, the mashklif with ashes and the stern. I'm going to go sit next to them. But he said to himself, you don't know what to say. He didn't know even how to read. So he said, Hashem, Hashem wants the avodah shebalev. He will think, he will cry together with them, and he will think that it's about the Beis Hamikdash. So he washed Negelwasser, he went and he was sitting next to them. There was Mekarev, and they are crying, he is crying, they are crying, he is crying, and they are crying, he is crying, until 3 o'clock in the morning. By 3 o'clock in the morning, they was up already to the Simcha Psukim, about the Geula, about Mashiach. So they was starting singing, and he's singing together with them. And they are going a dance, and he's dancing together with them. His wife, Hakhel, didn't know from the whole story. She gets up and she hears dancing in the middle of the night. She wants to tell something to Yankel. She sees he's not in his bed. She looks from the window. She sees Yankel, her husband, is dancing with the two Hasidim, and she screams and she says, are you crazy, Yankel, dancing in the middle of the night? And he says, Hakhel, don't disturb us. We are dancing on the Churban. So they say, we can go home. We can go home. It's a Churban, aber mit tanzt. Wir darf wissen, als ich sage, Churban, we are far away from what we want to be close. We can daven differently. We can have our quiz better. We can have the minutes in the day that we're thinking about if the Rebbe is happy with us or not. Much better. But still, we darf tanzen because we are still connected, and the connection that we're going to have again is a reconnection. It's not that there's no connection anymore, and therefore we have to look for where are we connected. We just need to reconnect it, to fill the battery, to refill the battery, and this is the time of the year. Chaim. Ja, gute Nacht. Aber in der Früh, mit so schön. Frau Fly, dachte ich, das war sehr gut. Ja, einfach kommen, fahren sitzen, wenn Farbrengen liegen. ברוך אתה אדינוי, אלוהינו מלך העולם העולם מיכאל מלכה הכל לבד מבוססות ועל הארץ חזרתי ובכל מה שעשו. יו, בסוגה ביטוב, בוא רחם אלוהי אדינוי לאמר ישראל המלך בירושלים ורחם עשים ושלם פתח ומחסמך חומה דרך דרך ונראה ירושלים וקודש מהם ביומנו ועלינו נצריך וחסמכנו בכל ברך וישב טוב כי אתה אדינוי יתנו לכל ונרד לך על הארץ ולאמיך ועל הארץ ולאמיך יו. ברוך אתה אדינוי אלוהינו מלך העולם ברוך שעשה ועשו ועשנו כל מה שברוך על הארץ ובנו שכרים וחמים עשו וחסים את אבו
Ashkech no bracha, never the bracha. Very nice.
ברוך השם, שכוח.
That's it,